welcome to the latest episode of 305 Vox Populi here in the town of Miami Lakes. I'm Mayor Manny Cid. We got a phenomenal guest today. We have Mel Rodriguez, one of the owners from La Traila barbecue here in the town of Miami Lakes. How you doing, Mel?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
All is good. All is good. I appreciate you coming on. Let me thank some of our...
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Let me thank some of our sponsors. We're powered by Miami Lakes AutoMall. Fred Senra, he gave the seed money to start this podcast. They're located at 16600 Northwest 57th Avenue here in the town of Miami Lakes. Their phone number is 305-455-3510. Mel, what do you think of this mural? Talk to me. What do you think?
I like it, man. It looks really, really, really cool and very, very Miami.
100%. Yeah. Very, very Miami. Local artist Grisel Gajano put this all together. She is a school counselor during the day, and then at night, she's an incredible artist that does amazing, amazing work. So thank you, Grisel. You can contact her at 786-353-8608. Our food sponsor today for the team, Joseph Sosa. Thank you, Joseph, for putting it all together. Appreciate you, Joe. And we also have a treat. I think Micah's going to be checking it out later today, giving us some feedback. Our film production team, Matter Lakes Broadcasting. Shout out to Matter Lakes Broadcasting. Mel, what's cool about this podcast is that it has a great social component, right? Everything we do in life is not about just being the mayor or making money, but we have to have an impact on society. So This is a live classroom, right? These are several students, the amazing teachers, but I think there's 90 kids already part of the Broadcast Academy. They do a phenomenal job broadcasting games and whatnot. Nice. You watch their games, they almost do it like a ESPN style. You have the ticker on the bottom. They got a bunch of stuff. They have announcers. So kudos to them. Mel, to you, one of the questions that we love starting off.
Yeah, man. Hit it.
Our podcast with is your why. Like, why? Why do what you do? When did you say, Mel Rodriguez from Texas, and this is my path in life? What's your why?
It's a great question, man. I mean, my why has always been I just want to inspire people, man. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm driven. I'm pretty motivated to do tons and tons of things. I mean, I've done just about everything, man. I mean, but for me, my why is usually just I want to be, a role model for my family. You know what I mean? I have a younger brother. I have 6 sisters. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be that guy that, can really, really help them if at any point in their life they need my assistance. You know what I'm saying? So I basically do this for my family.
That's phenomenal. And what inspired you to get into food? Why food? I mean, I know I'm in the food game, and I know why I'm in it, but why? Sure. Why food?
I mean, I'm from Texas, so food for us is it's just different. I mean, we cook with a lot of spice, and again, a lot of it's barbecue. You know what I mean? So you got the Tex-Mex, the Mexican, the American, and then you have barbecue. You know what I mean? And barbecue basically right now at this time, it's fused with all of those. And so it's just really, really special, man. I mean, for me, I don't find it here very often. I mean, I can't just roll down the street and eat barbecue, which is one of the things that I grew up eating, at least 2 to 3 times a week. It's just the way it is. So when I found the need to, think outside the box, or again, I was almost going to move back to Texas because of barbecue.
What?
I missed it so much. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I just say, you know what? I talked to my pops, and my pops was like, well, why don't you just cook it? Let me send you something. You can just cook it. He's like, yeah, I'll send you a small barbecue pit. Take care of it. And I was like, I can't take a barbecue pit. I live in a high-rise downtown. You know what I'm saying? Where am I going to put this thing? He's like, well, why don't you buy one of those little Traeger smokers? And I was like, that might be a good idea. You know what I'm saying? I've never used them, so I know buddies that have them. But again, something that I've never used before, but I miss barbecue so much. So I said, you know what? Let me just buy one. I bought one, put it on the balcony of my condo, man. And I would cook at night because you're not supposed to have, these things on your, you see the fires all the time, right? So I was just like, but yeah, man, I cooked some food. I gave it to friends, man. Everyone was like, oh my God, what is this? And I'm like, it's ribs, barbecue, you know what I mean? And they were like, these are the best ribs I've ever eaten in my life. And then it just kind of progressed. My girlfriend's family, man, I started cooking for them. And then it just kind of turned into a thing. And by the time you know it, man, I'm talking to my dad. I'm like, man, maybe this will work down here. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, no one else is cooking it the same way. And then just one thing led to another, man. Here I am going to Texas to pick up a 1,000-gallon smoker. You know, I just bought a truck. You know, I traded in the sports car, got a truck, man. And then I'm thinking that I'm just going to go full head on into this business venture of barbecue. And here I am driving. It's the end of February 2020, man. I'm driving back in March, like the first week of March, and everything's shutting down, man, because of, you know, COVID and all of that stuff, man. So I was just like, I'm stuck. You know, what am I going to do with this? Who knows how long this is going to take? And then, again, I had this big piece of machinery, had no idea where I was going to put it, man. I had no idea. Then a buddy of mine, Josh, let me park it in his backyard, man. So that was there for I don't know how many months, just kind of hanging out. I would use it like on the weekends, man, just to kind of like hone in back on the skill of smoking meats, man, because I had been gone for almost 3 years and I hadn't done it in so long. And, you know, it's like one of those things, man, if you're not consistently doing it, yep, you start to lose it slowly, you know what I'm saying? But thankfully for me, man, I'd been smoking since I was a kid, man. I mean, I used to smoke on the weekends with my dad, man. We used to pull up to like grocery stores and car dealerships and just sell like sausage wraps, man, on the weekends. And that's kind of where it just kind of became a thing for me, man. And then just watching like all of my uncles, my family, and, you know, just seeing how they were all treated because they were like the guys who were always in charge of making all this food. So again, the respect that they got from all of this, man, it just kind of like brushed off on me, man. And now like becoming and being a pit master, man, is like a huge thing in Texas because again, you're well respected, man, for it. So that's kind of how this all just happened, man. And, you know, I said, you know what, why not? Why not me here? You know what I mean? So here we are, man. I mean,
yeah, that's phenomenal to see, to turn a question, right? Say, hey, I can't find good barbecue. Right. A lot of people, and this is a great lesson for those kids.
I'm not going to say good barbecue. I'm going to say barbecue that I preferably don't enjoy.
You're a good man.
Yeah.
I want to find barbecue the style that I grew up
Correct.
with, right? From having that question, how do I find that? And this is a great lesson for the kids, especially that they're going to be editing this.
Right.
A lot of times in society, people are like, this doesn't exist, and they're complaining. Somebody should do this. You're like, I am that somebody.
Right.
I'm going to bring what I grew up with to South Florida and start working on that. So, I mean, that to me is so powerful because it shows, especially the young kids, man, you can do it. You just got to put your mind. You see an opportunity because it becomes an opportunity. It went from, man, I'm going to move back to Texas. I can't find my style type of barbecue,
right,
to, you know what, I'm going to bring that style barbecue to South Florida, and having that entire process and saying, hey, man, I'm taking it on, betting on yourself.
Pretty much, man. I went all in.
And I've seen it. I mean, because even during you hit it on the head during the pandemic, and I'll delve into another part. A good friend of mine, Milo Gonzalez, Milo and Tiffany. I remember when they were going to open up Smokehouse, the Smoke Box, right? Pandemic hit, they were stuck. Just like me, just like everybody else, we were stuck. It was such a tough spot. God works in mysterious ways. So, what's that story where, if you could share, where you guys come together and say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna bet on myself, and meeting Isaiah and all. I mean, how does that all, from you saying, hey, I got to bring this to Miami, to where you're at today?
I mean, it all starts with my girlfriend, man. I mean, without her, I mean, none of this is possible. You know what I mean? Because she's basically the person who introduced me to everyone I know, and then just kind of, it was a domino effect after that, you know, because it was her, then, you know, her sister's best friend is Isaiah, you know what I mean? And then their really good family friend is, you know, an acquaintance of Milo, that like everyone knows each other here in Miami Lakes. So everyone knows what's going on, what's coming, what's being built. You know what I'm saying? So Smokebox had been there for quite some time. So their really good family friend would always kind of like throw it into my ear, like, hey, this guy's building a barbecue spot in this area. I'm like, oh, well, cool. You know what I mean? I never had any intention of putting a barbecue place in Miami Lakes. My thought was always it had to be on the east side of 95. You know what I'm saying? Where I thought everything existed. I mean, it took me about almost a year to leave downtown Miami. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would drive probably to the farthest, Coconut Grove, Coral Gables, Midtown, and then the beach. I had no idea any of this existed out here. You know what I'm saying? So And then I started to venture out to Miami Lakes because this is where she was from, you know. So I just started learning more about the city, you know what I'm saying? Like knowing that life actually is on this side of 95, you know what I mean? Like this is where everyone lives that's from here. So when I first found out, or when I decided to like kind of give in to the whole let's go visit Milo situation, man. So I'd already been cooking at our pop-up over at Unbranded Brewing, man, for quite some time.
It's a great place.
It's a great place.
Great
Yeah,
place.
great people,
beer,
man.
Great
Awesome.
everything. Great place.
And I decided, I was like, it's time to move on, man. We need to find something. We had already been talking about putting it somewhere. We just had no idea where, you know, something that was already kind of turnkey so that we could just kind of come in and, you know, make a little minor adjustments. And then one day, man, I went to go visit Milo over at NQC. He wasn't there, so his wife gave me his card, and I gave him a call, left him a message, and he calls me back later on that afternoon, and he's like, "Hey, man, maybe you can stop by sometime this week." I was like, "You know what? I got some time." So I stopped by maybe a couple days later, man, and sure enough, man, I walk in and it's smoke box. You know, right now the way it looked, it was paper all over the windows, so you had no idea what was going on inside, man. But when you walk in, it was just like this small little restaurant. Had two little indoor smokers and, you know, small little kitchen. I had no idea what was possible at that time, but I could see that it had potential. So the first conversation he and I had was, you know, here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm thinking of doing. You know, I thought this whole time that I was just going to kind of go in there and talk to another guy who knew about barbecue, but he didn't know very much. He kind of just knew what he knew, and, you know, he was just going to kind of wing it, I guess. And in my mind, I'm thinking,
but he's a smart man because he saw the same opportunity you saw.
Sure.
We got to bring different style barbecue. So
Right.
he was like, I'm going to jump into this market. So he had, it's very interesting how the
Milo's
mind's.
a really smart guy.
He is, definitely is.
And, you know, and we start talking about the place, shows me around, you know, blase, blase. And then at the end, mostly of our conversation, he was just like, I felt like I was being pitched, you know, like, and I asked him, I was like, is this for sale? Or, I mean, are you planning on opening? He's like, well, you know, and I was just like, all right, so he's selling the place. And at that point, that's when I called my partner at the time, Isaiah, and I was like, hey, you know, there's a possible opportunity here in Miami Lakes. Here's the place. Come check it out. Here comes Isaiah. You know, he walks in and he's like, I love it. You know, what are we going to do? I was like, it's like, hold on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, does this place even work for us? You know what I mean? Like, we were just in Hialeah turning it into a destination place at a brewery. And, you know, at that point, we felt pretty confident that if we just went anywhere, that it would work, you know, but still you had your reservations because, again, it's still very new, man. And, you know, it's just this many people know who you are. So we said, you know, why not? You know, so we got into negotiations, man. We talked it over. We decided to buy the business, and here we are, man. 8 months later, you know, and business is booming.
No, you're selling out. Let's be real. You're selling out, which is awesome. And I remember meeting you for the first time when you had that soft opening, and I looked at you. I go, man, you got a problem. You're like, what do you mean? Yeah, you're going to outgrow this place. You know what I mean?
It didn't take very long.
And it didn't. So God bless you. Thank you
man.
for investing here in our community. And I'm so happy to see you guys hit that grand slam here.
I'm just glad people are enjoying it, man. I mean, you know, I can't please everybody, but, you know, at the same time, I'd say the majority of people really, really, truly do come in and enjoy the food because right now, man, we have tons and tons of regulars. And, you know, my thing is I'm always trying to develop something different for the community because, I mean, you get people that like things a certain way, you know what I mean? And, like, for example, the barbecue sauce. You know, I'm used to some, like, really red, dark, you know, tangy, spicy, you know, barbecue sauce. But here it's like I had to find the best of both worlds. So I mixed that with like a Carolina Gold type sweet, you know what I mean? And it worked. You know, you'll occasionally get the guys who want the stuff that I normally like. But, you know, again, it's not for everybody. The everybody is the stuff that we're currently making right now, which is that Carolina Gold with a hint of spice.
I had it the other day, and it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So what did you bring today? Because I know where's Micah Clark is here. Micah, you can head over here. Micah's one of the founders of 305 Vox Populi.
Well, then
And
I hope he likes these.
Walk him through what's in there before he tastes it.
So these are okay. So let me give you some context to why these are here. So we do I'm an aggressive trimmer with briskets, so I want to make sure that I'm not wasting anything. So for me, man, I make sure that, from the trim to even when we, like, let's just say, for example, we don't sell an entire brisket because maybe this piece of it is just not, sellable in a sense that how I want it to be presented on a plate. So we put that aside. And at the end of the day, man, once we have, several of those pieces, we chop it down and then we like reassemble it to where we can actually use it for empanadas. Empanadas became a thing because of one day we just decided, hey, let's just make some and see what it's like. You know what I mean? And at that point, man, I was just like, dude, these are amazing. They're smoked brisket inside, man. The meat's super soft. Not to mention, man, we use this like Mexican blend cheese that also is like really, really stringy. I mean, right now they've been sitting for a little while, but they're still going to be really good. But we also top them, man, with a jalapeno crema that we've been making here at the shop with a little bit of pico. And it's not hot. When I say jalapeno, everyone gets a little scared, but it's not spicy at all. But again, this is one of the ways that we cut down on any and every waste that we have at the restaurant, because again, we have to make sure that we're making the best of our food costs, because it's what's going to keep us open at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Very, very smart. Very, very. Micah, there's actually 3, so if anybody else wants to come check it out, Micah's going to try the first one.
I gave you some.
Yeah, I've tasted it. I'll wait till he shares his thoughts. So.
Is it good? Can I have one?
Yeah, for sure. Here you go.
I have no words.
You gotta speak it into you after you're done eating it. But yeah, so I'll share my thoughts. I remember I had a humongous plate at La Traila with everything. One little bit. It's fire. I mean, it's the real deal. I mean, you guys put so much love into that food that, I mean, you can see it. I mean, I had the smoked turkey the other day.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not smoked turkey that you buy in the supermarket anywhere else. No, it is. Micah, you got to share those thoughts because I see your face. What do you think?
Yeah, I want to say this really quick as I go back to eating this. This is the best thing that I've had like ever.
Is that a free commercial? Hey. You got that right there.
This is amazing.
Good.
This is amazing.
Awesome. Well, you got some awesome reviews, and I think one of the things that Mel mentioned that's so important in the food industry is waste, right? Because a lot of those things, a lot of places, you just throw it away. No, but those are thousands and thousands of dollars, and now he created something that is amazing, because I've had those before, and I think you use something similar for your brisket sundae, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all chopped brisket, man. That again, it's not like it's not unedible. It's just inedible. It's just meat that I'm not gonna present on a plate. You know what I mean? So it's still really good, but what we can do is just make it better and repurpose it in different ways to, again, prevent waste. I mean, I do that with our hamburger. I don't know if you've had it yet.
I have not had the hamburger.
So you need to come check it out, because the smoked hamburger, we're actually going to present that one at South Beach Food and Wine for Burger Bash in a couple weeks.
Going for that first place.
Always, man. Always. I had, what's her name? Lisa Petrello from Taste of the Town off CBS. And she came and she was just like floored, man, by the food that she had. And the burger was one of them. And again, man, when I first put it out, man, I mean, everybody absolutely loved it. I mean, right now we have people who come for burgers that were just coming for burgers on Wednesdays. But we've opened up the menu, so now it's available every day. But again, just going back to the no waste thing, it's like yesterday I trimmed 60 briskets, you know what I'm saying? And, out of those 60 briskets, man, I had probably 200 pounds of waste. So what I do is I grind it all down, man, fat and all, you know what I'm saying? We make our nice little mix, and here pretty soon we're going to make sausage too out of the same thing. So again, barbecue is one of those things that can really help control food costs when it comes to trimming and things of that nature, because we get the ribs, we trim down ribs, and what we do is we grind down all that meat, man, and there we go. We have, pork and beef sausages, and then we can just kind of play with it and make different kinds and other variations of it. So sausage for us, man, is going to be huge. And not to mention, I mean, I'm probably going to end up packing it and selling it in other locations too, because like I said, if we're getting 200 pounds of like excess meat, every day, I mean, where am I going to put all this? it has to go somewhere, right?
That's a great lesson for future entrepreneurs, right? These young folks understanding the hard work, the ingenuity, kind of saying, hey, we got to figure something out.
Right.
One thing I wanted to touch upon with you, because I own a restaurant as well, reviews, right? When you get those reviews, and I wanted to get your perspective. Like I got one the other day, and especially now, it's very hard to hire people.
Yeah.
So like we had somebody come in the other day, and they walk in, they see I'm down, the place is packed. I got 2 servers where I usually have 5. And we're trying to make it. And these folks leave me like a 1-star review and just blast me. And I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
And I think people hearing your story on how much hard work you had to put in, how much adversity, you had to fight through, finding employees, this and that. And for some folks who maybe have never felt that kind of, just to leave those reviews, how that impacts, how does it impact you? Because I know sometimes I read it and I'm like, man, are you serious? Like this?
I think we have to care sometimes. But I think most times, man, it's just for someone just to kind of come into your restaurant and automatically just feel like this sense of entitlement and just be very particular on how things should be. I mean, shame on them, man. Because, I mean, first of all, it's like these people that are putting these businesses out, man, work extremely hard. I mean, I work 7 days a week, man, 15 hours a day in some days, most days. And, for someone to come here and just kind of like just downplay everything that you do, considering like just the amount of work that everyone puts in as a team, you know what I'm saying? And like, it really hurts people, and for me, I've developed this like thick skin to where it's like, you know what, they might have a point, but at the same time, be a little more mindful that these people are trying, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't go to a restaurant, and if I don't like it, I'm not going to say, hey, man, this restaurant sucks so bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to be like, maybe I won't go there again, or maybe I'm going to give them some time. It looked like they were down a few people. Next time it might be better. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So I think people need to kind of like take it easy a little bit. I get... Okay, last I looked on Google, I think we had like 100 and something reviews, maybe like 2 or 3 1-star reviews, and then like a couple 3, and then everything else is 4 and 5, which is great. We have a 4.7 rating on Google, so again, that's amazing, right? But those ones that some of them didn't even eat at the restaurant. They're just upset because they couldn't eat at the restaurant, which I understand. But
don't leave a review.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Just say, hey, look, I can't wait to try your restaurant. Until then, I'm gonna leave 5 stars, and then if I go eat and I don't like it, drop it down. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Or don't leave a review. Exactly. But if you haven't eaten the food, or if some people just say like bad food or bad service, like give me some context. You know what I'm saying? Don't just leave those things. How are we going to get better as a team if no one is giving us like substantial feedback? Like give us what we need to do better, because obviously we didn't meet the expectation that you had when you walked into the door. So let us make that up to you. You know what I'm saying? And at that point, who knows? Maybe everything is valid, but it just wasn't your day or our day or whatever. You know what I mean? But I think for us right now, what we're battling is that a lot of people are having great experiences when they come, and a handful that do come in are seeing that these people are having a really good experience, and because they didn't have it, they feel the need to have to share their experience. You know what I mean? And I've had a few that I've reached out to, having a conversation with, and invited them back for free food, man. I mean, we just want to make things right. We don't want you to leave and never come back. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, some days we have good days, some days we have bad days. Yep. And that's just normal.
No, you're absolutely right. That's one of the things in the restaurant business that I've had to learn, you know, but it's all good. It's all good. It makes us better, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, all those things makes us better. So when we walked in, Ariel, who's one of the founders of 305 Vox Populi, as well as one of the main teacher teaching us, he said, hey, every week we get asked, who's the guest? And when they mentioned it was you, people are like, what? Are you serious? I love that place, isn't that? So Ariel, what do you got? What question do you have this week?
I guess I would like to know in the future, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Where do you see La Traila and the whole venture that you're in?
I'd say 5 years from now. I mean, it's tough to kind of predict what's going to happen, man. I mean, right now, I'm every day comes to me, man, different. Every day is not the same as yesterday. I have so many challenges that I have to face on a daily basis, man, that again are helping us reach another level. You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, I'm thinking that we'll eventually have the flagship store that we want so that we can offer a full roundabout barbecue experience that I'm used to, when I go home. The outdoor trees, picnic tables, at night lights, barbecue smokers, throwing out tons of smoke. You know what I mean? Like when you pull up to a barbecue joint, man, what you want to smell, the first thing you want to smell is the smoke in the air. You do. You know what I mean? Like that's when it really hits you that, hey, this place is really cranking out some good stuff. And then you walk inside and it's like you can see everything. When we first started the restaurant, you could see everything that we were doing. I was right up front. I was the first person you would see, man. I was cutting meat, taking your order and then pushing you down the line where you could see everything being served. So I want to have that experience again. And I'm hoping that we could do that in a space that's roughly anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 square feet, with an outdoor space that can accommodate, tons and tons of people to, again, be able to share those memories, those experiences with friends and family, which is what barbecue is typically, made for, So that's 5 years from now, hopefully sooner. And then who knows, man, maybe a couple of the satellites like La Traila, Miami Lakes, maybe right now I was telling Jose, man, I was like, a lot of our supporters, man, are from Kendall. So Kendall's putting a real push on, what we're thinking in terms of where we would like to, put our next spot. And it's just because there's no barbecue down south. So it would probably be, in our best interest, if it makes business sense to go down south and then maybe a little up north, because we've had people come from everywhere, man. We had a guy come from Jacksonville. We got people that come from Orlando on a weekly basis. Port St. Lucie, I hear a lot. Aventura, Hollywood, Hallandale, like all these places, man. I have a few people that come from the beach all the time, dude. Like, it's so weird. And then again, Kendall, man, like they are really supporting what we're doing. A lot of people that come from there. And, again, you sent the mayor Palmetto Bay the other day, she absolutely loved it, man. Yep. And she's like, let me see what I can do. And I'm like, hey, I'm not asking, but hey, if you're, offering, I'll sit down for a conversation one day. So awesome. Yeah, man, I mean, right now it's just a blank canvas, man. And we're open to anything and everything.
But I know I'm repeating myself for this, but I for the kids, it's so inspirational to hear how you start off with a question. You said, hey, you know what? I might go back to Texas. Yeah. Because my style of barbecue is in here. To today, you're already talking about opening up 2, 3, 4, 5, creating this monster brand of bar. I mean, how powerful is that? And it shows you how great of a country we live in, the opportunities. Sure. And when it comes to work ethic and dedication, you can go as far as you want. So just from that day that you said, I'm heading back to Texas, to today, I mean, that journey alone but there's a lot of hard work that maybe you haven't even shared, but there's a lot of days that I'm sure you were like, man, this is wild.
I think any normal person would have given up a long time ago. But I think the values and like it's the word I'm looking for here, man. The dedication that I have, man, to myself and I used to box. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where the hard head and like what's the word? Fortitude, man, that I get to keep going comes from, because there's nothing harder than being a boxer, man. Nothing. You can train to be in the NFL and all these other little things, but try being a boxer. It's not easy. You're constantly doing cardio. You're constantly having to be in the gym. I mean, you're constantly by yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what I guess shaped me to be what I'm doing right now, because a lot of the things that I do right now, I do alone, like cooking, preparing a menu, doing books, all of these things. I mean, I mean, granted, my partner is there for the most part, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of it's my idea, so a lot of it I have to come up with on my own. And, he plays NFL football, so he's gone for like 6-7 months out of the year, so it's tough to kind of like be back and forth. But at the same time, it's like I do most of this, include him on the things that, I think I would like to see his perspective, and then we kind of go from there. But I use a lot of other people, man. I mean, just everyone wants to help, man, and I'm grateful for it because I have that support system that again, I can lean on people when it's I'm tired and I can't do this on my own. It's like I lean on people. My girlfriend's a really big supportive of me right now, so where she's like constantly trying to help me keep my books in order, you know what I'm saying? Because those are the hardest things to do, man, while you're trying to keep everything in order, from falling apart. It's like at the end of the day, if your books aren't right, man, you're in trouble, so.
Yeah, you got that right. And shout out to your partner, Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah.
I've never had a chance to meet him, but I'll tell you this, I'm a huge fan.
Sure.
Especially after you guys opened up here, I was like, even now when they were playing the Chiefs and he was having all those amazing games,
Yep.
I was like, I told everybody, I go, man, I would love to see Isaiah play for the Dolphins at some point. But I was like, this dude, I mean, I'm so happy for him because him and Mel got together, opened up, changed the food game here in the town of Miami Lakes, and now he's being successful. They gave him that one opportunity. I think one of the receivers ahead of him had gotten hurt or something. Gave him the chance.
Against New England.
No, he tore it up.
Yeah.
And he tore it up. So really, really happy for him, and thank you to both you guys. And that's another interesting part, partnerships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have some amazing partners. I've had other businesses. My partners haven't been that great either. But
Sure.
now finding that fit, I think you guys have a very good fit.
Mm-hmm.
And what lesson can you share with the kids and finding that partner to open up a business, do whatever you want to do, finding that fit?
I mean, I think again, everyone has to kind of know where they fit in, and accept that. And that's one of the first conversations that he and I had when we were first talking about this. I said, hey, look, I mean, I'm going to come in and I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? Here's what I need from you. You know what I mean? And I think if we can both get on the same page and have the same vision, I think anything is possible. And that was the conversation that he and I had. And here we are, you know what I'm saying? Like, he bought in right away that that's my vision. I mean, obviously this is what my concept, right? So, but I'm not just one person who wants to just do anything. I want to make sure that when we're doing something, man, we're putting, intent into everything, and I keep telling that to my chef at the restaurant. It's like, I need you to understand one thing. When we're putting food on a tray, people are going to take photos of that tray every single time. Yep. So
I did. I took a photo when I went over there.
So what we do is we want to be intentional with everything we do. From the moment that we slice something, put it on a plate, to the moment that, we send someone on their way and thank them for coming. You know what I mean? Like, everything has to be very intentional. And that's what I told him in the beginning. It's like, this is the only way I can partner up with anyone, is that, again, we have to come together and have this vision. And again, it's the only way it's going to work. So if you ever plan on, again, building a partnership with someone, man, you have to share the same vision, because if someone else sees it this way, someone else sees it that way, it'll never work.
You got that right. Students, any further questions for Mel? You guys are good. One of the last things that we do is we kind of flip the script. The kids like for us to do that. They added in here when we first had the first season of 305 Vox Populi. Any questions you got for me? You got to ask 1, 2, 3, whatever you want.
What's it like having to be the mayor during the day and then be a cook at night in your own restaurant? What's it like? Like, what are the hours like? What do you feel? Like, talk about that experience.
Man, so I'll be real. When we were opening up the Mayor's Cafe, when we were opening up the restaurant, I thought to myself, I go, man, this is cool. I'm gonna be in the front saying hi to people, just hanging out. And when the pandemic hit, I went from not only, putting in 40, 50, 60 hours as mayor, because the pandemic, I was on the street 24, to I had to learn how to cook. I never cooked before.
Oh.
So I went from the guy that was, saying hi to everybody, running, I was the expediter. I was expediting stuff, going to people's tables, making sure everything, to where we didn't have staff. So I literally went from, so I had to learn the entire line. I had to start doing our own grocery deliveries. I had to go pick up, go to Depot and all these different places myself. Had to start learning that entire process, going through quality control, going through pricing, check. But that was, to me, it was so invaluable. It is hard. I'll be honest with you. That juggling act is really hard, but it was so amazing of a process because it taught me again that whatever we want to do in life, whatever it is, it's possible.
Sure.
Like I never thought I'd be able to run a restaurant and cook and learn. Like I'll give you yesterday. I mean, yesterday I had a bunch of stuff that I had to do. I had a bunch of phone calls with residents, and this and that. But one of my guys, we're down to cook. One of my guys called me. He's like, "Hey, we need you to cook from 9 to 2. There's nobody here." So I had to go to the restaurant and cook from 9 to 2. I had to put, on my phone, but I had to run the entire line by myself.
Oh.
And what's the funny part is I'm actually one of the better cooks now at the restaurant, but it's challenged me. And I love being constantly challenging. One thing that you hit upon earlier is that you constantly have to evolve to keep growing, right?
Yeah.
Once we become stagnant, if you said, you know what, this is all I'm going to offer, this is my menu, and never improve, you're gonna get to a point where you're stagnant. So you always have to keep doing las empanadas, doing this, doing that, growing, changing. Because if you don't, somebody else is gonna eat your lunch. There's gonna be somebody else out there, another concept that's gonna eat your. But yeah, that it's going back to your main question. It's a major juggling act. It's tough. As you can see, I don't have too much hair left.
Dude, my hair was black when I started. Look at this, gray.
When la traila?
Yeah, man. I mean, going just what you just said, doing all of these things and learning them. I never owned a restaurant, you know what I'm saying? So you had to like really learn on the fly, man. And now it's a little more easy going, but man, when we first started, dude, like it was bad because it's hard, man. Like I would never encourage anyone to open a restaurant, never. Find something else you like to do. But man, opening a restaurant is very, very difficult. I
told you, I thought it was gonna be this glamorous thing and what. No. It's amazing. Yeah. Like this week, I'll give you an example. This week, when we have the Miami Lakes Food and Wine Festival, I'm the mayor. You would think I'll be hanging out. Say, man, I'm stuck cooking this. I'm stuck cooking there because we're cooking some French toast sticks on the. But I don't have anybody else to work, so I gotta cook the entire 4 or 5 hours. It is what it is, but I chose that route. Owning a business, we can't say, hey, we got to take, no, you're it. You texted me today, you're like, hey, I don't think I can make it because somebody didn't show up. And then now you had to step up.
Yeah.
It's not like a lot of other jobs you could be like, oh no, send somebody else. No, you're it. So I appreciate that question. Anything else you got for me?
What's the best thing you like about being mayor?
The one thing that I love is that I wake up every day excited because I know that I can do something great,
right,
that I can impact someone's life, even if it's from something as minute as I had a guy the other day that would call me for weeks because his tree hadn't got it trimmed and his car tree got trimmed. And the guy wouldn't stop calling me. He's like, dang. And to me, it's like those are mundane things or the big things that we've done. Like when I see the freebies, the little golf carts that pick people up. Man, you know how that started off? That started off because one day I challenged the status quo. I said to the county, why do you guys force us to? Because we used to have 2 humongous diesel buses drive around town, and we were forced to drive them on a set schedule. Nobody would ride them. The ridership was 0. And I'll never forget that I woke up one day and I challenged the county. I was like, no, I want to change the county code to allow us to use that money to pay for freebies. So if you get it on your phone, you get it for free. People are like, oh, you can't do that. I said, no, I know I can't do it right now, but I'm going to change the rule. We change the code.
Yeah.
And I think that is something and I can give you a lot of examples, dozens of examples, but those are the little things to me. Man, I wake up every day excited because I know I can make a difference in someone's life. Even just the freebie story alone, I know the amount of people that's helped in their daily lives.
I almost used it to come here, but it was just taking a little longer than I wanted. So I was like, I better jump in my truck.
So you've used it before?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
awesome.
They actually called me to deliver food.
Yes, we had that partnership for a while.
So I was like, yeah, man. I mean, if someone wants to have their food picked up, shoot, call the freebie, man. They'll scoop it up real quick.
Yeah, we had that to help out folks and stuff like that. But man, I appreciate you coming on. Any closing words for future generations? I think a lot that you've added in here really is inspiring.
Thanks, man.
But anything that you want to add in there for them?
I mean, just like you said, man. I mean, you work hard, man. Anything is possible. I think that's kind of like the cheat code in life, right? Work hard, things happen, man. It's not luck. It's you putting in the work. That's all it is.
Listen, the harder you work, the luckier you become,
Exactly.
right? So it ain't luck, but
Yeah.
it's just your hard work.
Yeah, that's it, man. And come visit us. 8030. What is that? 154th Street.
Yep.
That's where we are, man. We're sandwiched between Starbucks and the food spot. Right now, everything's outside in terms of eating. You can pick it up. You can call it in. You can order off of latrailabbq.com. And yeah, come check us out.
Appreciate you, Mel. And there you have it. Mel Rodriguez, one of the owners of La Traila Barbecue. He's not going to say this, but I'll say this. The best barbecue spot in Florida. Check them out. Support them. You heard his story. Incredibly inspiring. And tune in next week on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll see you then.